Good evening. We welcome you all here to the regular meeting of West Valley City Council. We declare that we have a quorum present, a full quorum actually. All council members are in attendance. We will begin with an opening ceremony, and we turn to Council Member Tom Hewton for that.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it very much, and I just invite all of you stand up and do a legend with me. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see. Ooh, there are scouts here. We always look to see. And so we're going to give you just a minute. We invite one of your young men to come up and introduce your troop. But we only ask three things: your troop number, why you're here, what you're studying, like a merit badge or something, and then just the schools you go to so we get a general idea of the area of the city. Don't give us any personal information though. So. Okay. Yes, right at the microphone.
Hi, I go to Westlake STEM Junior High. My troop number is 799, and
What are you working on tonight?
I'm working on the communications merit badge.
And the same goes for the other scouts with you, right? Okay, just one of you, so. Looks like we got another one over here.
Okay, hi. So, our troop number is 1465. I'm going to be going to Hunter High School this year, and Xander goes to Kennedy, and we are also working on the communications merit badge.
Great. Thank you for coming. Some nights, if it weren't for scouts, we wouldn't have hardly anyone here, but tonight's a little different, so welcome. Anyone else I missed? I guess I'm going to have to change. I have to be careful because I have to make sure I say scouts because the Boy Scouts changed. Now it's both. So they're just scouts now, I guess. Although there's still going to be Girl Scouts, I think. Okay. With that, then, on to our minutes. The minutes of June 19th, the motion from the council.
Move to approve the minutes of June 19th.
Properly before us. Any comments? Looks like they're okay the way they are. All in favor of the minutes of June 19th, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Passes unanimously. The minutes are approved. Next we go to our proclamation of Independence Week, and that's not spelt like the 4th of July. And so we'll let Councilman Bueller take that and explain that, and I think it comes out in what you talked about there.
Thank you, Mayor. This is regarding independent businesses. A proclamation declaring July 1st through July 7th, 2018 as Independence Week in West Valley City. Whereas Independence Week provides a time to celebrate the independence of the members of the community of West Valley City and the entrepreneurial spirit represented by our core of local independent businesses. And whereas the individual decisions every community member makes today affect the future of West Valley City, and whereas West Valley City's local independent businesses help preserve the uniqueness of the community and give us a sense of place, and whereas West Valley City's core of independently owned businesses give back to this community in goods, services, time, and talent, and whereas the health of West Valley City's economy depends on our support of businesses owned by our friends and neighbors, and whereas West Valley City's independent business owners and employees enrich community members' shopping experiences with their knowledge and passion, and whereas as we celebrate Independence Week 2018, we acknowledge that the ability to choose the direction of West Valley City lies within each of us. Now, therefore, we, the Mayor and City Council of West Valley City, Utah, do hereby proclaim the week of July 1st through July 7th, 2018 as Independence Week, and salute our community members and locally owned independent businesses who are integral to the unique flavor of West Valley City. and honor their efforts to make West Valley City the place we want to live and work.
Thank you. Next, we have a proclamation representing July 2018 as Parks and Recreation Month. Councilman Christensen.
Thank you. A proclamation recognizing July 2018 as Parks and Recreation Month. Whereas Parks and Recreation programs are an integral part of communities throughout this country, including West Valley City, Utah, and whereas our parks and recreation programs are vitally important to establishing and maintaining the quality of life in our communities, ensuring the health of all citizens, and contributing to the economic and environmental well-being of a community and region. And whereas parks and recreation programs build healthy, active communities that aid in the prevention of chronic disease, provide therapeutic recreation services for those who are mentally or physically disabled, and also improve the mental and emotional health of all citizens. And whereas parks and recreation programs increase a community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of the local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of businesses, and crime reduction. And whereas parks and recreation areas are fundamental to the environmental well-being of our community, and whereas our parks and natural recreation areas ensure the ecological beauty of our community and provide a place for children and adults to connect with nature and recreate outdoors. And whereas the United States House of Representatives has designated July as Parks and Recreation Month, now therefore, the Mayor and City Council of West Valley City, Utah, do hereby proclaim July 2018 as Parks and Recreation Month in West Valley City, and encourage all of her citizens to afford themselves of this opportunity to be in the parks during this month, dated this 26th day of June 2018.
Thank you very much. So, you've got your marching orders. Go out and visit the parks this month. Go out and play. Okay. Not usual that government tells you to do that, but that's okay. Let's see then. Next on our agenda are public comments. Did we have anyone sign up? Jake isn't here. Okay. Thank you for pinching. I was looking for Jake that usually gets that for us. Let's see. Okay. I'm just seeing if anyone new here. Doesn't look like. I think all three of you have been here before, so you know the rules now. You can speak up to 5 minutes. Any subject you want. It's not a question and answer period. It's not a discussion. It's whatever an individual wants to say, and so you're aware there's a very good reason for that, and that is that by state law we cannot have a policy discussion in our meeting that's not on our agenda. That's to protect the citizens that we don't sneak something through on. And so although we may briefly comment, very, very briefly, there isn't a discussion and we can't answer questions back and forth. But we may put that on a future agenda based upon what people say, especially if it's something new. So with that, and by the way, anyone can speak, and it can be any topic they want. So with that, let's go with Paul Nichols, who signed up first.
My name is Paul C. Nichols. I live at 5329 West, 4100 South. You talked about Peyton, Mr. Kerber got it last week. How about some more officers on 4100? The big trucks are running up and down the road now. 10-wheelers, semis, they're rapid. So I'd like to get some help. We could. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Christy Wilson.
See you next week.
About 8 months ago, we went to the West Valley Animal Shelter and adopted our first dog. After that, we found that there are no dog parks in West Valley. We have to drive 20 minutes to find somewhere our dog can run safely and not be a danger to himself or anybody else. I know they're currently doing a lot of work in Centennial Park. There's an area right now they haven't finished between the skate park and the fire station that I thought would be a good place. I don't know if, I didn't see any plans for that area other than just grass. That way it's away from neighbors, away from houses, people won't complain about the noise from it there. It just really needs a fence and just a designated dog park. I've talked to a lot of neighbors that would also really appreciate having somewhere that their dog can run safely. Didn't know, I emailed Parks and Rec and didn't get a response. I emailed the council person and didn't get a response, so I didn't know if this was the appropriate place to bring the request. But I don't know what needs to go from here, if I need to do anything different, but if you could let me know if there's anything to maybe see if this is possible or not. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You can stay around just a couple of minutes, don't leave quite yet. Next is Mike Markham.
Okay, I know the drill. Thanks, guys. Mike Markham, 3008 Alice Way. So much to talk about. The gravel issue that was brought up, I'm kind of getting a chuckle out of this. I don't know if any of you were on the board when that issue first came up. And that is kind of what started me coming to these meetings, because I was very much in favor of solid surfaces. But we had too many people complain of the expense factor. But if you talk to the people that put the concrete in, they will admit it was the best thing they ever did. And so now it's all of a sudden this gravel issue is coming back to bite the city. I think Steve, he mentioned that he was on the council or just started when that was talked about, but I don't believe anybody else is on the council that when that issue was talked about. We need to do solid surfaces. There's too many ways around gravel. Solid surface is the way to go, whether it be blacktop or concrete, a combination. I've seen some places where they've trimmed asphalt with concrete and bricks, and it looks very, very nice. A lot of different things you can do. But now my new campaign is going to be the Lucas CPR machines. Now we don't just need 2, we need 3 because of the new fire station. I don't know who up here wants to make a phone call to a family and say, we're sorry, your loved one passed away because there was no CPR available or some issue happened. I don't know what they cost. As I recall, they were fairly expensive, but I think they're well worth the money. It's well worth a life if something happens to where we can use one of those. And this was not brought up to me by anybody through my Citizens Police Academy. I asked a fireman that I was working with doing CPR if he felt like the fire department had everything they need, and he just said we could use 2 more of the machines. So if you can find it in your heart someplace and in the budget, maybe we could start a GoFundMe account for West Valley, do something to buy these life-saving devices for the fire department when they're called out. Work it in the budget someplace. There seems to be a fair amount of money out there for building buildings and different things. So we should be able to buy some life-saving devices out there to send our fire department, our paramedics out prepared. I know they've been to my house. They've been to my neighbor's house multiple times. They're great. They're excellent at what they do. I think this whole city needs to be proud of the fire department and the police department of what they do for the city and what they go through. I'd like to remind you guys, it would look great on your political resumes if you had on there you went through the West Valley City Citizens Police Academy because you learn a little bit about everything. Last week we were at the bomb squad, we went through gangs, and then we were at the 911 call center to see what goes on there. I don't know how many of you dealt with all of that. We've been out to the gun range, fired all the weapons that the police department have at their hands to use, from automatic to semi-automatic to sniper rifles to pistols. It's, you know, I think everybody needs to step up and know what goes on as you're passing codes, ordinances, and working on the budget. But once again, before we do anything, like the big expense was talked about in the study meeting, we need to step up and buy the Lucas CPR machines. And to help you kind of remember what that is, remember CTR. Like CPR, we need to get some more of that equipment on our trucks, because it could save somebody's life. We're all, well, not all, some of us are getting to the age where we might depend on something like that. So thanks for your time, and you'll keep hearing from me. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here who wanted to participate in our public comment period? No, it looks like. Okay. Then, what I'll do is we'll bring it back to we'll close that public portion. Any comments, Mr. Pyle?
I'll just make a coordinating comment, Mayor. Maybe we can ask the Parks and Rec Director to meet with the lady who spoke earlier after the meeting.
Yes. Okay.
She is here, so she can speak with you. Parks and Rec Director.
Okay.
That's
Council members? Okay. Then, but I think it's appropriate that from our discussion, certainly dog park hasn't come up for quite a while. And so let's add that to our study meeting agenda next week. And then the gravel, we're already going to do that. 4100 South, we've already talked about multiple times. But is it a CPR machine? I guess that's we have talked about that, but let's put that on the agenda under potential future agenda items to address there, so the council can have a little bit of input. Then it being on our agenda, then we can talk about it, okay, and have a policy discussion. Okay. Then with that, we next on our agenda have resolutions. That's item 8 on our agenda. We first begin with resolution 18-93. Award a contract to Van Con Inc. for the 3300 South Storm Drain Project. This is an extension of that particular project, or our storm drain. The fiscal impact is $260,000 total. That's the maximum. The official bid came in at $236,645. And then we'll see if there are any needed change orders with that. It will extend the Lund Park storm drain. Okay. I can't even say it once, much less 3 or 4 times. That was put in 2014, that collects roadway water from 3300 South and drains it into the Jordan River. And so that's the information on the project. Of course, council can add any comments they want or supplementary information. But with that, we turn to the council.
I move for approval of resolution 18-93.
Second.
Any further comments? This routine work, we've been working on storm drains in our city, and it seems like we have quite a few of them that we've done over the past few years. And I imagine we'll continue in the future. So this is another one that has come up. It's properly before us. Seeing no further comments, we'll turn to our city recorder for the roll call vote.
Councilman P.T. Simonu?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ling?
Yes.
Councilman Bueller,
Aye.
Councilman Hume,
Aye.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfeld,
Yes.
and Mayor Bigelow.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Next, we have Resolution 18-94. This is to award a contract to Counterpoint Construction for the 4700 South, 5600 West Storm Drain Project. This one is for $90,000. And let's see, this is out by the railroad track. And it's the existing drainage system historically consisted of a pipe crossing 4700 South, draining into a ditch that ran into a culvert under the railroad and then onto private property. The culvert is plugged, failed, so the water floods the railroad tracks. Proposed project will run a pipe parallel to the tracks and then connect to our existing storm drain on 5600 West. So the bid was accepted for $79,635, and so that we don't have to bring it back to the council in case any unusual items occur once they start digging in the ground. We authorize a contingency part with that, so that's the difference between the bid and the $90,000. That is the issue before us. With that introduction then to the council.
Move for approval of Resolution 18-94.
Second.
Properly for us. Any further comments? Seeing none, to our city recorder for the vote.
Councilman Nordfeld,
Yes.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Hume,
Aye.
Councilman Bueller,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang, Councilman Fitzie Umanu, and Mayor Bigelow.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Next, item 9 on our agenda, our consent agenda. We have a lot of items there. I will talk about the first 3, and then I'll talk about the rest as a group, which are appointments, reappointments to various city committees. The first 3, Resolution 18-95, 18-96, and 18-97, are in conjunction with the first 2 are on our 4100 South project, and those we have a right-of-way contract, a warranty deed, and a temporary construction easement. We're doing a major project along 4100 South that will be starting soon. These are the ones that require special attention. If they're just doing construction easements, then we're okay there. I think these are only where it involves actually some land that is obtained. The third one is the same thing, temporary warranty deed, temporary construction easement, but it's at 2719th West Winchester Drive, which is 4270 South. Those are fairly routine, but they do come before the council. I'm going to go through the others, and there are quite a few of them. So staff has prepared kind of a summary for me, just so we get them on the record. Okay, 18-95 through 97, we've talked about. So resolutions 18-98 through 100 are the Planning Commission. That's reappointing Harold Woodruff, Clover Meters, and Martell Winters. Resolutions 101 through 103 is the Board of Adjustments, and that's supporting Angie McConkey and reappointing Sandy Nagel and Scott Spendlove. Resolutions 104 through 105, the Business License Hearing Board is to reappoint Steve Lehman and Ron Wicker. And then resolutions 106 to 108 is the Professional Standards Review Board, and this is to appoint is it appoint or reappoint? Reappoint Abigail Dyson as chair, Matt McPherson and John O'Donnell as members. Okay. And then resolution 109, the Audit Review Committee, reappoint Lars Nordfeldt as chairman of the Audit Committee. And then 110 through 114, the Clean and Beautiful Committee, That's to appoint Matthew Lovato as chair. And I'm not sure all of these are reappointments. Are they? All reappointments, okay. Lisa Renee Jones, David McEwen, Kathy Alberico, and Craig Thomas. So those, you can look at them for more detail there, but as you can see, those are fairly routine. The council's had a chance to look at those, and they need to come before us for approval. Those are all on the consent agenda. They can be taken separately, but generally we do them together. To the council.
Mayor, I move for approval of the 20 items on the consent agenda.
Second.
Seeing no further comments or discussion, to our city recorder for the vote.
Councilman Fitzsimonu?
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang? Yes. Councilman Bueller?
Aye.
Councilman Hume?
Aye.
Councilman Christensen?
Yes.
Councilman Norfelt?
Yes.
And Mayor Bigelow.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you. That was helpful to have the little sheet with it summarized, made it a lot easier. But we got it all on the record. So with that, any final comments from the council? Next week we go back to our regular schedule of 4:30 for a study meeting. And we did meet at 4 o'clock out at our new fire station. We just had I guess we call it a ribbon cutting. It was actually a fire hose decoupling, but we opened up that officially that fire station and a nice new building for the southwest part of our valley. Other than that, seeing nothing else, a final motion.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn. They're not really anxious to leave. They have to think about it first. All in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. It passes unanimously. Thank you all for coming tonight, and enjoy your evening.